Hello. Yes, yes, this is correct. That is the right microphone. How are we all today, this afternoon? I woke up at 3 o'clock. I know nobody's here right now because I've literally just started. But I can talk to nobody. That's fine. Uh, everybody? Yeah. One day I will get to go to the hospital and hopefully they can diagnose the problem I've been having for the last year about my throat. But until then, I'm still suffering. But mostly I'm sad. There are some scenes in movies, and I know like they're supposed to hit hard. That's like the entire point. But there are some scenes in movies where I'm just like, damn. Like, and that was one of them. For those of you who've not seen Green Mile, fantastic movie, very sad. I couldn't recommend it more. It was really good. I say was. I watched it ages ago. It's not like it's thingy. And one of the scenes, the main character, I won't say stuff, is he's gone through a lot. And he calls the other main character boss, and he's just like, I'm tired, boss. Like saying all the stuff he's tired of, he's like, I'm tired of people being ugly to each other. Like he has such despair from he's like a really nice person, but he's despair for essentially humanity and how horrible people are to each other. Just like that's like the nail in the coffin for him. That's what's making him decide that it's his time to go, because you just can't take it, and that is horrible. And it's great. It's a great scene. Oh, yeah. Not just a great scene. It's the best scene. That's not the video I wanted. Yeah, I like that. The Lo-Fi video. So Lo-Fi, how long did it stream for? It said here 561 hours. That doesn't sound right. That's like only, what, 20, 30, 25 days roughly. I assume it was longer than that, but it still says it's processing. Wait, so does the channel have more Lo-Fi content? Oh wait, they run Lo-Fi beats to sleep/chill to and beats to study to. Let's check the chill one. It sounds the same. You guys can't hear it. One second. Ah. All right. I found this, but I haven't found the original concept yet. So let's go back to Twitter where I originally found it, because I know what was my friend who posted it. What? You know what? Let's go to just. Find it quicker, just stuff. Damn, he reposts a lot. Oh my god. Maybe I should do that more. I was gonna say, I've seen some of these drawings from like a year ago, and I looked at like the date, and it was like January and February of this year. I was like, hold on a minute. Man, he doesn't repost this guy very much, though. Man, to get a sliver of the likes he gets. Oh, it's like 200 likes per post by the looks of it. Plus, that's like a low-end post. To be fair, he got 7 likes on that one, 79 likes on that one. Oh, it goes down a little bit as well. Did you make that? I did. This is an old model I made April last year. And I want to finish it. I have... I'll show you what it looks like. Wow. The Substance Painter file takes up 4 gigabytes. That doesn't seem right. What's in there? Say it's not up to date. Yeah, you create this project with an old version of Substance Painter. It's not up to date. Would you like to update it? Go for it. That is what he looks like. But I want to get him finished off. He needs some hair from his ears. I need to add his tail in. Then I need to add hair to the tail. Then I need to rig it. But I'm trying to find his original concept so I can see how the hair and stuff actually looked. I'm pretty sure the topology is good as well, right? Yeah, we've got decent topology if we actually wanted to, like, animate him. Like, if I actually set this up correctly. Well, hopefully not get caught by his teeth. But yeah, the way I've actually modeled it, you should be able to do a lot of stuff with it. Guys, bring his eyebrows higher. Shocked face. Oh. I actually learned how to kind of do your insetting of your eyes while doing this, which is really nice. I'll pay him 35 cents per day. That is banging money right there. You know, talk about pay, right? So let's go average salary UK. Oh, this sounds more realistic. Hold on a minute. As of November 2022, the current average salary is 27k. That's... Usually when I look up this statistic, it's way higher. But that looks about right. 27k looks about right. I wouldn't be surprised if that is the average. Usually it's like 37k that it comes up. And I'm like, no, Eager here. Average salary was 38k. There's just no way. So 27k actually sounds about right. Usually it's, when I look it up, as just over 30k, 33, 38, something like that. And I was going to say, I don't know a single person, not one of my friends. I'm just trying to think through my head about all of them. There's maybe one who earns more than that now, but he got into housing estates, stuff like that, like selling houses. Are on a salary even at the average salary of the UK. So it's mental to me. Looking a bit blue. What did you say to her? Looks like this, like the sad one from the Disney film about inner emotions. Oh yeah, oh, sadness, right? Literally a name, I guess. Here he is. Well, that's one picture of Ham. So Ham also has this pose. So he actually changes quite drastically in the way he looks. But I need the tail and I need the ear hair. And after that, I think I'm done. I mean, I didn't make him as hairy, but it's hard to do that. Like he's got hair, not as hairy as I could. That's like a lot of hair. I was a bit timid on how much hair I was adding because yeah, I've never done hair before. I didn't want to make it too difficult for myself. Copy this image onto my desktop so I have it for reference. Just because you want it to be a chick doesn't mean it is. Got the socks as well, yeah. Got the socks, got the shoes. Patchwork. Bags. Potions. Oh, yeah, literally. Oh, you know what? I'm missing one crucial detail. Oh. Oh my god, what the? You know what? Hi, Stephen. How's your weekend? Not too bad. I've just been playing games mostly, which has been really fun, and with friends. Yesterday, I did get annoyed at a friend. We were playing League of Legends, and he has this habit, and I don't fully blame him. Has this habit of when he gets annoyed at another. So in League of Legends, it's a 5-man team, right? And gets frustrated at other players, as everybody who plays League does. League of Legends is a very easy game to get frustrated while playing. Like some sticky marks on my dick. But something he'll do, and I don't do this, he'll literally start like intentionally dying or going AFK because somebody annoyed him. And that's fine if he's playing on his own. I don't care. When he's playing with me, that means I'm losing. It's a team game. That means I'm going to lose. And I said to him, if you do this again, I'm just going to stop playing with you. I was like, I can't be happy sit here, yeah, yay, you lost us the game because you got annoyed at another player. So I was like, bro, come on. That was humorous. I hope he didn't take it too offensive. He seemed fine with it afterwards, but maybe he was rolling in his bed afterwards, like really angry with me for saying that. Who knows? But I doubt it. He's quite a nice person. It's not like I'd ever expect him to act that way. League of Legends is a frustrating game. I expect people to get frustrated. It's like when you play. I remember when people used to say about, oh, you get so annoyed when playing these certain games. Not necessarily me, but other people like getting annoyed playing Dark Souls. I will say loads of stuff in Dark Souls, but I don't mean it. That's totally understandable. Play as a team or play as the lone wolf. Yeah. If he was playing on his own, go for it. Yeah, you might be ruining the whole game for some random people, but it is just random people. I'm your friend. I'm playing the game. I'm choosing to play the game with you, and you're ruining my experience. I'll just go play on my own. Wait, I was gonna say Psych 2. That oh, what was I saying? I literally just lost the train of thought. Oh yeah, in Dark Souls, like what was I yeah, Dark Souls. Is it so easy? Oh man, that was bullcrap. Why did he cast so quickly after his first ability? Or why has he used his most annoying move 4 times in a row? Like, that hitbox was massive. You know, small things. Just like, you guys have watched me play Dark Souls. Most of the time, I'm pretty chill. I only really get vocal with it when I'm around other people because it's humorous. Funny. It's just like one of those things. Same with like League of Legends. If I'm playing League of Legends on my own, I'm not going to sit there and go, he's annoying. That didn't hit me. He's so lucky. You know, on my own, I'm just going to keep that all internally. I'm just going to be like, but when I'm playing with somebody, making it vocal is just a part of the experience. And I remember a while ago, somebody got annoyed. Not annoyed. What does someone say? Oh, but why do you say all this stuff and playing Dark Souls? Whatnot. But it's just a part of the experience. And I was like, and funnily enough, my mate Jack, who doesn't really get mad at anything, does the same thing when he plays Dark Souls. And we were talking about it, and he was like, yeah, it's just, you know, we're not actually mad at it. It's just fun to do that. Like, it might seem like you're angry when you're playing, but you're not. It's just a little bit of a laugh. And yeah, I just think that's humorous. That you know, ooh. Guys look very cool. It's just got a bake on it. It does. I see very little shading from the head. What I want to do... Got like a freckle. Oh, it's like... everything, and I'll... It is a boy. At least the original creator says it's a boy. So in respect for his work, it is a boy. He's got more freckles on his face. He's got like 2 right here. Now, this doesn't look like the concept entirely. I am not a character artist. It's difficult for me to make it look like, and I'll admit that. I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, I made these changes intentionally, because they're not. Changes are almost entirely because I'm just not a good enough character artist to fully capture the vision of the character. That's what he looks like. Obviously, I've got him in T-pose, so it's a bit harder to thingy. But I think I did a damn good job, considering I'm not a character artist, and actually getting him to be pretty similar. He definitely needs a bit of a fatter face. He needs to come down and out a bit more. The body-wise, I think I captured it pretty well. You had to find that running emoji before writing girl because you knew you wanted to put it in, or did you quickly write it in after you posted it? So I can actually come into here. We've got backup versions. Yeah, look at all the backup heads. So I do this quite a lot. I usually just typed it. I usually don't. The hand looks way bigger on the reference. I think I reduced the hand size there because it was so big. It was a bit awkward. Yeah, like, it's already clipping through, because it's so large, it's already clipping. It's hard to tell until I can actually move it. When I move it, you'll probably notice. I think that one was an intentional change, though, because I didn't want it to be, like, too huge. I don't think it's too far off, though. I think the ears are technically bigger as well. So what I can do, if I want, I can select the cheeks and bring it up. Either select the cheeks or select up here in a little bit. Ooh, need a better soft select. Yeah. I'll be there. Guess I'm gonna have to select it from. I'm not going to change anything. I think it's close enough that I don't want to mess anything up. So I'm just going to continue texturing. Looks pretty cool. I need the hair and the ears. So that's an interesting one. I have no idea how I want to do that. So we've separated them out into separate components. If I actually come into here, I think if I... Oh, you can't. You got to select them. So I've got all of these manually selected tongue as well. Can I select the tongue? What? Oh, is it selected? Oh, now it is. Okay. I just want to look at the UV map real fast. The eyeballs back there. Okay, cool. So I need room to get the hair in there, and then I need I'm probably going to attach his tail to this body. So the tail is pretty simple. It comes to a point, but then I need hair around it, or fur, or whatever. That was very, very difficult for me. I didn't look how bushy it looks. It's hard as a physical mesh to make that, well, in my opinion, because I'm not much of an organic or even hair. I don't do a lot of hair stuff. So I have to try to figure out how to do that. We'll hide the backpack for now. Backpack got an unwrap now. So I need to unwrap all this as well. You need to move more subdivisions on the tail if you want to rig it. Yeah, I mean, it's already got a subdivision, right? Oh, it does. It's just not applied. When it's applied either at 1 or 2, get more. 2 was what it was set at, so I assume I wanted it more like this, yeah. That would give you a nice rig at 2. I do want to get it in a scene as well, just for rendering purposes, so I may set that up in a second. I need one every 2 centimeters, I'd say. I don't know if you need it that high. If video game characters had it that high, freaking their poly count would be insane. I think that would work fine. I think you'll be surprised how fine of a bend that would still look. That arms, like, I guess here it's quite dense, but you could have this like easily reduced. He looks like that. Yeah, he does a little bit, to be honest. Okay, so ear hair. So if we press this button, and it apparently zooms me out. Oh yeah, because it centers your GFC centers your 3D cursor, but it makes you see everything in the scene. So I don't know if there's a center cursor button that I'm just not aware of, but I always press Shift C. So what we're gonna do is do this, do this, do this. Here. So how do I do it? I need it to come out in separate pieces. My bad, my S key sometimes doesn't register. How dare. So technically it doesn't need a back to that. Technically it doesn't need this part to it. I know what was just released recently. My Hero Academia. Yeah, maybe I should just start at the front. I think the next season was just released, so I might get on watching that. My problem with that show is I've forgotten so much because it's like they release it relatively quickly. There's a center point button. I think it's something with middle mouse click. I can't remember, but you can move. Yeah, I know you can do that as well. I can't remember the shortcut for that, but it's to just center it to grid like the 3D cursor. I think over here. That, yeah, look, you can move it like this. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Okay, so I'm trying to think about this because it comes. Oh. It comes over and it's like completely here. Now I need to take it up his head, make sure this stays basically aligned with it. And what I can do, get like a bit come over here. A bit comes out like here. But I don't think doing the silhouettes or this kind of thing is going to be the best way to get it done. So I think I need the center points. That's where it has like its highest point. So I feel like you need that in there, like. Even though we'll make it thick at the start, then we'll smooth it afterwards. You know, something like this. And same with like all of them. I need to focus on that highest point area and work from there. So this one isn't as high, but same sort of principle. I think, again, sometimes, you know what, it's kind of like what the senior artist said. He worked at 505 Games that used to be in my chat. It's like he said, he's like, it's you forget quite a lot in such a short span of time and how you would do something. Because if you've taken a break from it, which I have, I've taken a break from 3D in a lot of regards. Because at my job, I'm having to do so many different things. I don't always get a chance to do all the 3D stuff. Make that face the other way. Yeah, then we'll smooth it afterwards and get our shape. Hi, guys. Hey, Annie, ready? Oh, wow, it's been a while. Do you have a Valentine's yet? I have not. And I don't think I will be getting one, I'll be quite honest. I'm not exactly a lady killer like you guys may. I know I kind of have the impression that I'm a ladies killer because I'm just so drop dead gorgeous, but apparently we're that lot. That's square. Oh, let's just get rid of that instead. My body count is 27 right now. Like Call of Duty? Like what are we going on about? This one actually kind of overlap. Then come down to that. And I could feel the... Oh my god, that is not... Oh, right, it's not coming up high enough. So that is not doing what I anticipated. Yeah, we go. Something like this. Right? Again, when it smooths, you'll get, like, this little lip coming out, so the hair's, like, sitting on top. But my first message didn't send. Wait, was it, like, a joke? Do the body count. Need another high point here. Now, I need to get these actually being a bit more averaged out, but that's fine. I'm winging it at the moment. This may not be very good. We're just going to see where we can get with it before we continue. I mean, I think we're getting the right idea, though, looking at high poly. Ah, pins and needles. So first of all, they need getting it going flat, which doesn't make sense. But I think what we because obviously the ear comes back, but I think what we do is we just back afterwards like that. I think what we're also gonna do. I don't need to do it now. What we're also gonna do is we're gonna do like a bit like that comes off afterwards, so we just get that thickness. Thick. Okay, so we're getting issues here. Just shouldn't have had it overlapping the way. Or at least not up. You can also select it and do like a relax. Soften up how they look. Now, I don't know if I'm going to want to do that, but I might do that and then make it a little bit more defined as I go. There should be mirroring on the other side too. This actually comes out way more than I'm having it. It's a little bit more accurately placed. Doesn't quite come down to down there though. Definitely small. And this part's definitely not more. Not down here. Doesn't reach the ring. It gets very close, but doesn't quite reach. Cool. Now we need to start filling the gaps in. I might just start adding bits here. Have a much more smoother transition. So I am not very good at this kind of. You guys could judge me as much as you want. I'm not going to stand up for the method I'm actually... I don't know if this is at all how you tackle... It's always an interesting thing to me. Like, anytime someone got interested in what I make... Oh, I didn't... I'll make them afterwards. They would always be like, can you make a character of me? Can you make a character? I'm not a character artist, and it's interesting that most people, when they see 3D art, their first instinct is to want to see characters and stuff. It's not quite as impressive being a prop artist or something. People don't seem to get so attached to that as much as being a character artist. People love character art. I wouldn't say people hate prop modeling, but it's not their first thing to ask for when they find out you're an artist or a 3D artist. The first thing is always you have characters. It's usually characters, guns, and stuff like that. And I find that very interesting because there are probably, I'm Probably more people in the industry who are prop artists, because you need so many props for a video game than any other field. It's probably why it's so hard to find a job in it, because it's such a saturated area of interest. So it's kind of funny that despite that being the case, when you're asked, oh, you know, oh, you're a 3D artist, like character scheme, it's always the assumption that the area you're going to say you can do is characters. Is there a reason to use quads as opposed to using triangles to mesh parts like this hair? I always try to use triangles. Quads will tend to not warp as much when it comes to subdivision. And you can always add edge loops with quads. So if I want, like, I can't do it here because I've got the quad coming over here. But in most cases, actually, I want. In most cases, look, I can just add edge loops. Oh, I want some extra room here. Boom, easy. You know. Oh, I want some extra bits here. Whereas if it was all triangles, I can't do any of that. Triangles don't allow edge flow. Triangles allow edge flow, but only when it's finished. It's much harder to edit. Unless you're sculpting, then it doesn't really matter. If you're mostly box modeling, then you'll find that you'll have issues keeping that edge flow. And if you wanted to change it, let's see back here. If you wanted to change it dynamically, you tend to lack that ability with tries, unless you're just doing sculpting. It doesn't matter if it's or sculpting. I think this, especially in ZBrush, converts the tries by default, so it's not a big deal. But when it's like this, it's a little bit more. Oh, there still needs to be. That explains why I was having trouble with loops. Yeah. Subdivision as well, like a huge one. Like, watch the subdivision here. That kind of looks more right. If we have it triangulated, you'll see you'll get these like much more sharper, weirder parts. You like how it's kind of more pinched, where still much smoother that subdivision is. So yeah, whenever you can, try your best to stay in quads. With that said, if it will work better with tries, just use a try. Like here, look, we've got a try here as it comes to the end. It's a push and pull workflow at the end of the day. You're always gonna find reasons to use quads. You're always gonna find reasons to use tries. It's up to you to figure out which one you need to use. And again, if you're, as I said earlier, if you're you're working mostly in ZBrush and stuff, it doesn't matter. But this hair isn't very good, I must say. So we need to improve that. Let's get it all aligned. Hold on a minute. How did I subdivide the whole edge and this area down here didn't? I watched Promised Neverland's friend recently. Very good first season. I can't recommend it because the second season was so meh that it's very hard to recommend. And it's such a shame. I think, so I don't want to spoil it just in case anyone does watch it, but I'll describe how I feel like the second season went to an extent without spoilers. What everyone says. Yeah, I looked at what everyone said before watching it, and I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. I hope it's just manga watchers kind of being a little too... Like, sometimes, obviously, when people read the books, they get a little butthurt when certain things have changed. And it's understandable, don't get me wrong. As someone who's read books now and I've watched shows afterwards, I can say, oh, there are some areas that are not, that will go, oh, yeah. And I thought maybe that's the case. That it's just going to be anime watchers, manga readers versus anime watchers. But no, the first season felt like its own unique thing, felt like a kind of a dark anime, more in lines with stuff like Fate Zero. But honestly, Made in Abyss in the later on in the first season, that gets a bit dark. Attack on Titan, you know, sort of dark. People die. It's hard to, you know, you feel very emotional about the characters. Second season, it's almost like they went, okay, so we don't want to follow the manga. We want to make our own thing and not follow the story. We want to get it all done in one season. Oh, but producer or whoever they're saying this to, there's still 15 more volumes to the book. We can't get it done in one season. We're gonna get it done in one season because season 2 is the end of the whole anime. Fate Zero is confusing. You think so? I love Fate Zero. Fate Zero is one of my favorite animes, probably. It was just so dark and interesting. And the graphics are awesome. Graphics? Drawings? Whatever. Well, what was I saying about? I lost train of thought. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. And then the second season felt like it went, like, whoever was making the decisions. Like, what are some really top animes? What's gone on? They're like, oh, you know, and they just were thinking of happy-go-lucky ones, like One Piece, Fairy Tail, you know, where nobody ever dies. There's no real consequences to anything. Like, oh, we lost. Oh, now we won. Like, and don't get me wrong, those animes are fine. I'm not saying that it's a bad anime direction. What I'm saying is it's a huge change to what the first season was supposed to be. If the first season felt more like the happy-go-lucky anime, and then the second season felt that way, it'd feel much more of a consistent pacing and a much more consistent just anime. But because the first season was so drastically different in how they told the story and how dark it was, how it didn't feel like a happy-go-lucky anime, when the second season felt that way, it just felt like he was watching two different animes. Now, some people would say, what? That's crazy. Two different animes? No, it wouldn't have felt that way. And it depends how much you review what you're watching. I was being quite critical at that point about the anime because there was just so many... It was like, we have a problem. Solved. We've done it. We've got another problem. Easy. Done. They were just so quick to solve everything. And I know for a fact, I've got the manga and I can read them. I bought them because I wanted to read the stories because I knew the second season was good. And it was just like, stop solving everything so quickly. This isn't, you know, it doesn't have any meaning if every issue is solved within 10 minutes. It's like... This one is a little bit of a spoiler, but if you have no idea about the anime, it doesn't really matter. So a character in it was like, oh no, I've been poisoned. I'm dying from this poison. There's no way to resolve it. Within like 2 episodes, it's like, so we found a cure. I was like, what do you mean you found a cure? It's just like, come on, man. This is so random. It's not like I need my animes to feel dark and people need to die, but it needs to be consistent, man. Like, this is so funny. And I'm cured. Excuse me? Yeah, we're fine now. What? That's better. Not better. It seems like how Horatio had the case cracked before the first ad break in CSI Miami. It was almost like he had read the script. It's just like, chill. Like, people... And I would say people don't want you to resolve this. And you say, oh, see, that's not true. People love seeing their characters get, you know, they don't want to see them die. And I'm like, to an extent, you're correct. However... It's clear that this was not the case here anyway, because the second season got ridiculed for being as bad as it was. So in this case, there's like at the end there, everyone's got their own opinion. Some people might like it, but it doesn't necessarily mean what I'm saying is incorrect. Because yeah, it did just resolve everything so quick. Hey, quick question: what was that loop cut tool you were using earlier, where you were setting the amount of cuts on the fly? Oh, so you press Control R in Blender. And you get like a loop cart, you can left click and place it. But if you have it still here without left clicking, you can just scroll up and down on your mouse to put in as many as you want. The P. Oh, sick, thanks, man. No problem. Oh, and Blender crashed. All I did was unhide. Okay. I'm pretty sure this is why I have so many versions of this project, because it kept crashing. Wait, no, not recent. Recover. Recover or recent? Recover. Always. Oh, hold on a minute. I swear that just moved as I went to click. Am I crazy? Did I accidentally hit that or something? What? Someone clipped that. I swear to God that moved as I clicked. Did it not? Steve, do you know a bit or two about BP and booleans? BP as in blueprints? BP... I mean, I know about booleans. Can I unhide? Hey, we're good. Blueprints, yeah. I do not know diddly squat about blueprints, mostly. I actually did write a couple, or put together a couple, about a couple months ago. But I am not a programmer. Steve Sensei, it did move. It did move. It did move. I knew it. Yeah, I don't really know, blueprints. It's really funny when people ask me this because I'm sitting there like, it's a nice question to ask. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you're an idiot for asking. There's no harm in asking, but asking an artist if they know how to do blueprints, I always find a very funny question because I'm like, I can't imagine you're going to get many artists say, yeah, I know how to use blueprints because they're artists. They're spending all their time getting good at 3D art. They don't have time to even experiment with blueprints. Unless you're very talented. In that case, woo, you're a better man than me. I barely know any artists who finish their own projects to begin with because they say it's just too much work to do. Let alone also programming their project. It just doesn't look very good. I had this problem with the hair before that I could not get it looking very, very good. Ooh. Might just be because I need sculpting tool. For this part here that I don't... I think this hit way too high. Needs to get too sharp tip. My mic cuts out sometimes for some reason. Oh, really? That's very, very strange. Oh, that's just because the processing I'm doing keeps like riding my... You know, I find it really interesting when people want to be like do the whole process to a video game. I've never wanted to do that, so I can't relate at all. And I find it so interesting that people want to do that because I'm like, I just never had that interest. I never had the interest of making an entire game from scratch. I knew since I was 13 years old when I wanted to do 3D that I wanted to just do 3D. I sat there and said, it's like, I was like, it's going to be very difficult doing the entire process. I'll just be the 3D artist. And that's what I stuck with. But I know a lot of people, and it's not a bad thing. It just shows you being very, want to branch out and learn a lot of stuff. But I know a lot of people who just want to do the entire process. And I think that's so crazy. That's just such a huge amount of work. And I applaud you for wanting to do that. Like, that's insane. This part is just like a patchy bit. Then might try to flatten it. You know what? What if I select all this back bit here? Max that. Yeah, look at close to what I'm looking for. I think so. First of all, this definitely isn't as sharp as I got it. Just need to down a bit more. Definitely more. Oh, if you guys do want a Dark Anime, by the way, Made in the Abyss, excellent, excellent anime. People who hear me talk about anime have probably heard me mention Made in the Abyss quite a lot recently. It is awesome. It was probably one of the best animes I've watched in a very long time, and I cannot recommend it enough. It was phenomenal. Graphically, animation, story, everything about that. The music, oh, the music, man. Was so good. Everything about that anime was just so magical to watch. You know, like that feeling when you watch a Studio Ghibli movie? Yeah, that. Except multiply it because it's like a whole 2 seasons at the moment. What's it about? No spoilers, please. So, Made in the Abyss is about... There is this huge abyss in the middle of this town, and people from far and wide come to explore this abyss. Now, that part isn't too important, knowing that people from far and wide come there. But I guess it is a little bit later. But yeah, it's this huge hole in the middle of this village, and basically they are taught to, as they're growing up, they got to explore it because most of the funding from the village, this is actually not too described in the anime. Well, I don't know if it's described in the manga, but they basically, a lot of the funding that you get is by taking back artifacts that they find in the abyss, and they've basically taught people to go into the abyss to collect these artifacts. Undertale the anime, yeah, kind of. And they got to, yeah, it's a big part of it's just that, and they got to part back, but after like the first episode, so I wouldn't really call it a spoiler, you discover that the main character, what the main character thinks, the main character is like one of their parents was a big part of, they were known for being like a really big part of this whole thing. Like, they explored it further than anybody. Because the further you went down in the abyss, the harder it is to come back up. Because there are different curses that will affect your body. When you get so low, it's basically you're not coming back up. And this person thinks that their mum is at the bottom of the abyss, and they go in to go find her. That's the basic premise of it. Me saying it's dark might be considered a spoiler, because it doesn't seem very dark as the anime starts and as you go through the anime. But as you progress through the anime, you start realizing there's a lot more darkness to what's going on, and then more insane things start to happen. Yeah, and it just gets better and better and better. It's no easy way to describe it. It just gets really good. And I enjoyed like every moment of it. Anime. All wrong. Well, that's made that separated, which is pretty much what. I actually kind of moved. Like I said, I kind of wanted it over the top of it. And that was for good reason, because it kind of looks like it covers that part like that, covering that part. If I pull that up, and that will cover it. Yeah, so it looks like it's like, probably do it here, but like hairs really. Problem is where it connects. You can see that like sharp connection. Like I could still keep coming back and doing that, but I do want it to eventually connect because it helps with the screen. But yeah. What other good animes have I watched? You know what? Let's look at my anime list. There's a website called My Anime List, and I basically I haven't recorded everything on there, but when I remember, I will put the anime on there that I've watched, and I'll rate it out of 10. I always find the 10 out of 10 list really weird, because the amount of people I know, or amount of what I've read online, the amount of people who like 5 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 0, 5 out of 10, 0 to 5 or 1 to 5 list. They're way better than 10 out of 10. Why? I'd rate it a 3.5 out of 5. So a 7 out of 10. No, I don't like 1 out of 10 lists. I was like, it's the same thing. You're just multiplying it by 2. I don't. Do people like 1 to 5 because it's a bit more of it's less precise? Like, a lot of people won't do the points. Like, you'd say, oh, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. You won't go 3.5, which is essentially a 7 out of 10. I guess that makes some sense, but yeah, I know I've seen more than I know, should I say. I've seen a lot of people online say that they prefer lists that are 1 to 5 rather than lists. That cuts out all the way over here. I can pinch that in, make it look like another hair. I think that definitely works better. And I want to do that with a lot of them now. Just need to do that. Grab that, pull that down to give us extra geometry on both of them, and then you can overlay them. Anyways, let's look at my anime. Let's do this. I want to look at that before. Yeah, I think if we did all of them like that, though, right? Like I need to pull this up a little bit. I think I need to make a bit thinner here. With that said, I think it's just made it to up here because. Yeah, I definitely think this needs to be bumpier. I will look at this anime list in a second. You guys just wait. So we can do something like this. We can kind of make it look bumpier, like there's more hair here. I can always draw on it to make it look more hairy as well. But if we just do this, we kind of look like we're giving the hair a bit more volume. Too bad. Oh, you know what? I should add it to the hair itself. Yeah, I should add it in here. You know what? I was going to say as well, I forgot this earlier. People will say to me quite often, especially when I, well, 100% when I say, when I have this, when you have certain assets, you separate them out into separate components. So if we actually go into the substance painter, we can see how many separate components he is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, a couple of cases you can actually use for this. You can use UDIMs, or you can use UV sets, right? Instead of taking them into separate components, which is one way to do it. But there's a software called Character Creator, and somebody exported something out of it. And Character Creator is specifically made to make characters for either film or video games. It imported it to Unreal Engine. It had 29 different materials. And I sat there and went, I don't feel too bad about mine now. Because people keep saying that to me. Why have you got it separated? Why is it separate things? Why didn't you have it together? Why have you not used UDIMs? Why have you not used UV sets? I don't know. Why does Character Creator not do it? They did the same thing. They got 29. 29 is overkill, to be fair. There's probably a way to compress that into smaller maps. But I can't imagine it's going to go as low as 5 like I got for mine. Or 6. 1, 2. Oh, 6. So yeah. Separating stuff into separate sets is fine. Don't do what my old artist used to do, though. Because my old artist would separate random stuff. Like, she'd make... I remember she brought in an asset, and it was like 8 different sets. Like, all it was... Like, it wasn't something complex like a character. All it was like a... It was like something like this, with like a doorway in it. It basically was a big head, whatever. Doorway in it, and then underneath it, it had... like a platform... Wow, this is a terrible way to look at it. It was basically like a head sitting on loads of little... what am I looking for? Slabs. Sitting on loads of slabs. It had a little sign inside the mouth, like, enter away or whatever. It had diamond eyes, or sapphire, ruby, whatever, like gem eyes. Like a stone, like you see from Indiana Jones, like a stone statue, but its face was its mouth was the entrance point, and all the other stuff. And I think it was like 6 or 7 different material elements / 7 different materials, however you want to describe it. 7 different textures. So first of all, 7 different textures or 7 different materials means 21 different textures, because you need a normal map, you need a normal map, and you need a albedo map. So that's already 21 different textures. Now, this is fine for certain assets, like a complex character. For an asset like this, I took it out, I combined it all together, then I made my own textures for it. It could just be one texture. So, as much as I'm telling you guys, yeah, don't worry, separate things out within reason. If everything you've made can just be in one UV map, put it in one UV map. There is no reason for you to put it into like 7 different ones, unless, well, I say there's no reason. If you have a reason to put it in separate ones, that's fine. But if you don't, and you're just doing it for the hell of it, Try not to. Try to put it in lower maps, because the lower maps means less draw calls. Less draw calls means better performance. Also, it means less texture maps. Less texture maps means less file size in your overall project at the end. And it also means less texture streaming, which is all good things. Optimization has to be thought about when you're making stuff for video games. For movies, optimization is kind of thought about, but it's not as heavily, like, if it takes you 2 days to render one frame, well, okay, that's a bit too much. If it takes you an hour to render one frame and you need to render 1,000 frames, and you know that's going to take you 1,000 hours, so that means it's going to take you, what, like roughly 42 days or something like that. If you have 42 days to render it, that's fine. Like, if we look back at Toy Story 3, how long did it take to render a frame in Toy Story? According to June 2010, sorry, 2020, Jesus, the issue of Wired, it took an average of 7 hours to render a single frame in Toy Story 3. But when it's rendered and you splice them all together into an animation, it doesn't matter. For a video game, you need, at a bare minimum for a lot of people, some people, to be fair, 60 frames per second, but for a lot of people, 30 frames per second. A movie, 7 hours per second. Or, wait, 1 frame per 7 hours, that's what I'm looking for. So what would that actually be? So 1 frame per 7 hours. So 7 hours and 60 minutes, 360. So let's go. 7 times. And that's right, 60 times 60 again. And then that means we want to 25,200 seconds for 1 frame. We don't need to divide that. I'm trying to figure out how the maths work. I was gonna say how many frames per second would that be? Because it'd be like 0.00 something frames per second. But my maths isn't working right. I don't know. Brain. Does that just mean it will? No. That's not right. I can't remember how you do the maths of that. It would have been like 0.005 frames per second or something like that. Like, you can't run a game that slow, you know what I mean? You can't have a 1 frame move every 7 hours, whereas in a video game you obviously need 30 to 60. Anyways, let's look at my anime. let's go off topic and got my frame right now. Ah. Let's go score. So, what we got? Fullmetal Alchemist, 10 out of 10. Probably my favorite anime. I think there's a misconception. If you rate something 10 out of 10, like I rate things out of how good they are, not necessarily how much I enjoy them sometimes. So, for example, I've got some stuff in it that I did particularly enjoy, but I still thought, from a critical perspective, from a critic's point of view, it was still good. It still did everything right. One of them was a romance anime. I don't like romance animes. I'm not into romance. I'm not really into romance animes, but it was still a good anime, so I still give it like a 6 out of 10, even though my personal entertainment, it was probably a 4 out of 10. So I'm a little bit more, I think, more of a critic's point of view when I try to rate something. I say that, freaking 2 10s. 2 10s? I thought I only had one. It's just my Alchemist. Lock Horizon, where is that? They've got a new season of that. I say new, it was released like a year or 2 ago now, but I was told they'll never release another one, and then season 3 came out a couple years later. Fate is a 9 for me. Overlord, it was really good. At least season 1 was. Men in Abyss is a 9. One Punch Man. One Punch Man is a bit of a hard one, because I just said about I try to look at it from a more critic's point of view. Like, I try to really review it when I think about it, when I'm actually giving it a score. I don't think One Punch Man should be a 9. I don't think it does anything that amazing. The animation is awesome, but it's just so fun to watch. I, in good conscience, can't give it less than that, because I just enjoyed it way. I've rewatched One Punch Man more than any other anime on this list. It's probably 3 or 4 times. I just enjoyed it. It was really fun. So it's hard to say, oh, it's going to be lower, because you can. This is another thing. You can like trash, right? One of your favorite games or movies, you know, it can be a garbage movie, but it doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? You talk about it with. Oh, Dr. Stone is awesome. It's a 9. Why would I talk about Metal Alchemist a lot? Everyone talks about Full Metal Alchemist. I could go on for days why I think Full Metal Alchemist is one of the best animes ever made, but so does everyone talks about that. I mean, Dr. Stone's tying with a lot. We've got a lot of 9s in here. You know what? Demon Slayer's got a 9. Season 2 wouldn't have a 9. Season 1 deserve a 9. The problem is rating psych as well. If you rate something, have you heard about 91 Days? It's the kind of dark anime you seem to enjoy. Oh, I have not. Maybe I should watch that. When you rate something like right after watching it, you either usually are you're overly hyped about it, or you're you're too judgmental about it. But I feel like there's some movement I could do on this list. Like Overlord's, you know what? Overlord was really good. Maybe the third one would only get an 8 though. Overlord was just solid. The only parts I dislike about it is like the generic Japanese tropes, like, oh, we're gonna make this woman super attracted to the main character, stuff like that. This just doesn't bother me, and that would probably bring it down a little bit, but it's already at a 9 instead of a 10, so. When I was learning programming, we had to write a fractal Mandelbrot set generator for an assignment on a 286 with 16 colors. It took 3 days to render on 640 by 480. That was a decent rig too. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like, it really depends on the project you're going for. Because when people ask me, like, Steve, how would you do this? Or Steve this, Steve that, I'm like, I can't always answer your questions because it really depends what you're going for and what it's for. Toy Story is made using silicon graphic machines. They were way more powerful than... let's see what else we got. So Dr. Stone, definitely a 9. Honestly, I wonder if Dr. Stone deserves a 10. Because like I said, if the show does everything right, like, my enjoyment of Dr. Stone probably wasn't as high as Full Metal Alchemist, as much as I do enjoy it. And that's not me putting it down. That's just because I enjoyed Full Metal Alchemist that much. But the show just does everything right. Everything with Dr. Stone is just done quite beautifully. It's just a really well done show. Yeah, it's hard to put it down anyway. Samurai Champloo, that was really good. It was very different. It was more old style, and it was just kind of, people consider it dark. I just think it's more realistic. Like, if someone died in something because they were poisoned, depending on how they portray that, it doesn't necessarily mean it's dark. It just means it's realistic, right? It just means you gotta remember that these are real people. It's just reminding you. And I wouldn't go as far to say that that means it's a dark anime. And I feel like that's how I feel about Samurai Champloo. Is it's not dark, even though it's been on the dark list I've seen. It's more just realistic. It was like watching a Minecraft Let's Play. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Samurai Champloo was crazy. It was good. The animation stuff, the fighting styles, and they didn't have any of the tropes I don't like. Like, Samurai Champloo was a great watch. Spice and Wolf, really, really good. Log Horizon, really good. I got 8 on it for season 1 and 2. Fate Stay Dark was slightly lower than 0 because it was just slightly not as good, so I feel like I had to put it down. The ending kind of sucked. The ending was just kind of meh, wasn't it? It just kind of got summed up. I'm not going to say what happened at the end, but hello, Mr. Steven. Hey, Megapixel, we're looking at my list of anime that I've rated. Gate was really good. Gate was just interesting, quite frankly. Assassination Classroom, that was such an interesting anime, man. Like, and there's nothing quite like Assassination Classroom, and I'd recommend anybody watch it. It's really good. Oh, what's the English name? Aito Genshu no Grimgar. I can't remember the English name, but that's interesting. Something Grimgar, English name. The English name still has the word Grimgar in it. That was pretty good. That's quite. That was a very beautiful anime. It was drawn very uniquely. Like I can't think of anything that looked quite like that one. Mob Psycho is fantastic. You know what? I need to add the other ones on there. Mob Psycho deserves overall probably a 9 out of 10. Season 2 probably deserves a 9, and Season 3 might deserve the 10 out of 10 spot, which kind of makes the average 9, so maybe it deserves a 9 out of 10. Wait, did I say 9 or did I say 10? Mob Psycho was awesome. Another one I can't recommend more. A Little Witch Academia was really good. It was like like Harry Potter anime style. I don't really like Harry Potter that much. I don't hate Harry Potter. I'm just not a big fan of it. Like every British person seems to be. I swear to God, everyone I speak to seems to think Harry Potter is so good. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, I didn't dislike it. You know what? I hate having an opinion on something that's really, really popular. Because people will always say to me, it's like, oh, Steve, you're just a hipster. You don't like mainstream. Are you serious? I don't like mainstream. I freaking love mainstream. Some of my favorite shows, movies, songs are all generic mainstream. Heck, some of my favorites, especially music. I love all sorts of music. I will, if you actually listen to my playlist, there'll be some of the most random stuff you've never heard of, and then there'll be loads of generic stuff like Summer of '69, like or Michael Jackson songs or Ed Sheeran songs. You know, generic stuff. It's the same with anime, same with TV, same with movies. Like, I love Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is probably my favorite trilogy to date. If you count Pirates of the Caribbean as a trilogy, because you don't count 4 and 5 because they're technically part of a separate story arc, then maybe Pirates of the Caribbean, but that's also generic. Pirates of the Caribbean, Lord of the Rings, mainstream movies. I love those. But because when I say to some people, oh, I'm not a big fan of Matrix, I'm not a big fan of Harry Potter, they'll be like, oh, he's clearly all hipster over here, doesn't like a mainstream media. Ooh, I'm like, no, I just actually don't like Harry Potter that much. I rewatched all of them with a friend not too long ago, and give them more credit than what I remember. They were a little bit more enjoyable. It's dinner time here across the channel. Thanks for your help, Steve. See you later. See you, man. And they are more enjoyable than I gave them credit for originally. They might get a 6 out of 10 overall from me, which is still means they're enjoyable. They're still above average, which is 5. If I'm being generous, maybe a 6.5, but I'm not in any rush to rewatch the Harry Potter series. I know what, I want to bring up something that actually just reminded me, because Harry Potter, the game, got released recently, and almost everybody I know, like, Narnia deserves more. Narnia. God, I don't know why I'm moving this. This isn't what you guys are hearing. What was I talking about? Oh, God, I lost train of thought. I lose train of thought really often. He said Narnia, and it completely distracted me from what I was about to say. Oh, yeah. So, Harry Potter got released recently, and apparently it's really, really good, which I'm happy for people, because a lot of people I know bought it day one. And I was just like, you guys weren't skeptical? Video games that are based on movies and TV shows are notorious for being terrible. And someone who knows about the game industry knows that. Like, there's documentaries on it that companies were just dishing out games that were related to movies, TV shows, because they were trying to get money, because they're buzzwords, you know, saying, why's my music like, oh, not saying that, but, oh, it's just long. There's literally documentaries on that companies were basically just throwing out games that had that tacked on. This was years ago, to be fair, like 10 years ago, maybe. I think I was in university or before university when I watched this one. And people would just throw on movie titles, TV shows, stuff like that onto a game because they tried to get sales out of it. And they made it vaguely related, and they usually, more often than not, they were bad. They were bad adaptations because they were just a cash grab. And this is a known thing. So when people were like, yeah, I bought it day one, I bought it day one. Yeah, I bought a Harry Potter day one, I bought Harry Potter day one. I was like, damn, you guys had no, I mean, I wish I could be that optimistic, because the game released and apparently it's awesome. So their optimism was rewarded. I am not that optimistic. If you told me, oh, they're making a game out of, a Lord of the Rings game, which I loved Shadow of Mordor and I loved Shadow of War. But I didn't buy them day one. I waited for reviews and stuff. I waited to see if the game was good before I bought it. I mean, maybe an anime game. I can't think of any good examples. But if they were like, oh, we're releasing a game and it's one of your favorite series, Steve. Like, oh, okay. I wouldn't jump on it and instantly pre-order it and buy it day one. You know what I'm saying? So when people were doing that for Harry Potter, I was very shocked. And this skepticism for it is a good thing. People seem to get mad at one another when you say you're skeptical on a release. Oh, what's coming out soon? Let's say Harry Potter, right? And let's say apparently they released a little gameplay trailer, right? I said they'd release one gameplay trailer. One gameplay trailer can be very easily scripted, let's say. Hogwarts Legacy is surprisingly good, to be honest, from that did Cast 3 was... Oh, they made Cast 3, that's hilarious. Yeah, apparently it's really good, which, like I said, I'm happy that people's optimism paid off. Because there's nothing... Well, there's a lot of things worse, but it's very upsetting when you put all this faith into something, when you watch its gameplay trailers, when you go, this looks awesome, I've got to really enjoy this, I'm going to pre-order, I'm going to buy it day one, I'm going to put 20 hours on it on the first day it's released, and you play it, and you're like, man, this sucks. I just spent 50 quid on something I don't enjoy. So I'm glad it's a good game. It's just, people get mad at people from having skepticism. Skepticism. A real word. For being skeptic over the release of games. Especially when it's only got one gameplay trailer, or it's only got cinematic trailers. When a game only has cinematic trailers and people get, oh, you said that this company didn't look like they were releasing a good game. Look at their trailers. And you're sitting there like, yeah, but they're all cinematic trailers. Like, and then I don't want to sit there and say to people, I told you so after it's released. I don't often give my opinion on releases because I know people get upset if you do. And, well, as in give my opinion before they're released, like saying, oh, I don't think this studio looks well put together, for example. Being skeptic is a good thing, though, because it makes the company want to push to show you more. If everybody saw a 2-second trailer of a video game and everyone and their mum pre-ordered it, they wouldn't have to show anything else. There'd be no drive for that company to say, okay, let's release 5 gameplay trailers, let's release all this content so people know what they're getting. If everyone just pre-ordered it without any second guessing, then a company would never have to do that. So what I find funny is these people complain, oh, I hate you for saying Harry Potter was gonna, like, you were skeptical, you didn't think it was gonna release well on release. I hate you for saying that. Now, they're lucky because it did release well. I say lucky. It's good that it released, and it's a game. But being a skeptic means it pushes companies to show you more. Like, you're complaining at somebody, and what they are is helping you. Rockstar could just drop GTA 6 without any trailers or marketing, and it would still... Yeah, exactly. And that's bad. You need skeptics because you need companies to prove that they're releasing a decent product. So there's nothing... Like, skeptics are helping you. I think that's the part that gets me the most, is when people moan at people for being a skeptic, I'm like, you're moaning at someone that's helping you. Like, I don't get it. And it's they're so hyped up on the video game that just a little smidge of negative commenting, even if it's helping them, you just attack it. And yeah. But at the end of the day, we've seen the last since games existed, that games have false promises, games release broken, games need fixing after release, games aren't what they promised when they first released, they're not they're not even the genre they said it was going to be. We've experienced this time and time again, and people still sit there and get confused why people are being like a skeptic over the release of a game. I'm like, have you been paying attention to the gaming industry? I just... Nothing wrong with being excited over a game. You shouldn't have a go at somebody just because they're excited over a game, but they also shouldn't have a go at you if you're being skeptical. Yes, there are two extremes. If this person went, I spent £500, let's say they were releasing, I don't know, Stranger Things, the game. I just gave the company £500 for the premium copy of it. What? Yeah. And they're like, that was half of what I earned this month. I'm like, you spent £500. I was like, you can spend your money on what you want. And then he'll, like, 2 weeks later, I've got no money. I'm like, well, you probably should have spent £500 on a game you don't even know if it's going to be good yet. Like, got no trailers, for example. It's got no trailers. I think you just threw £500 because you like the series. That's an extreme level. Like, spending money that you shouldn't be spending because you don't have that much money. And I think another thing that people don't realize is it hurts the gaming industry and we've seen this time and time again, and it usually it escalates and escalates and escalates until one company gets shut down for being too extreme. And a good example of that, and I can't think of what company would have been where the extreme reached, microtransactions. Microtransactions are still happening quite a lot today, but at the start it was like, oh, you get 10% more damage versus other people if you pay. And I was like, oh, people like that. They're like, oh, I could put £5 in the game, and I'm stronger than other people. And even though that's a bad thing, when it first was a thing, people didn't really interpret it as a bad thing. And the companies were getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Someone cool. Okay. It's getting worse and worse and worse and worse, right? Until it reaches a point where a company is like charging you, like Diablo. That's a good example. Blizzard, Diablo Immortals. I think someone calculated it that you need to spend like $1,000 or something just to unlock everything, because it was either $1,000 or like an insane amount of hours. I can't remember. And then that company got really blasted for it. That's the problem with being too positive about these things and not having more skeptic, not having people complain, is companies will take advantage of that. If you constantly keep saying to a company, and it's why Call of Duty, for game after game, will sometimes release nothing new, and then they will release something kind of new and kind of fun in the third release in a row. Because if you sit there and keep giving them money for the same damn thing every year, FIFA, for example, NBA, you're not giving them any reason to change anything. You can sit there, oh, but they haven't changed in years. Anyways, I bought their last one. They will stop buying it then. If you keep supporting them, why would it make them want to change anything? It's so weird. Anyways, my dinner is ready, so I'm going to have to stop streaming. I'm going to get off stream the character actually in that Unreal Engine scene where I had the cannon, because I wanted to see how the lighting's going to work on him. So I'm going to do that off stream. I might even stream it later. I'm not sure. I've got a lot planned today, gaming-wise. People want to play games with me today. But yeah, I will catch you guys in a bit. Oi!